All right, all right. Thanks for whoever just gave me my chat here to come back up here for you all. How are you all? Happy Wellness Wednesday. I am back, you all. Let me get I think that's one of the things that I need here. That's what I was looking for. Is right by my nephew's picture, my zinc. Okay, which I am almost out of. I'm gonna give some of you all time enough to tune in. Thanks for the like, share. It's me, Dr. Chef. I am back. Yes, I am. I'm just trying to get back on store. I had to figure out a way to get my internet back up and going for this busy schedule that I had. You all have been doing what I stated that I would do, a lot of groundwork, networking, um, and I just want to give the proper greet to my Christian brothers and sisters. Praise God for my Hebrew brothers and sisters. Shalom. For my Muslim brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. For all those who say, I'm not part of anything. How y'all doing? It is a blessing to come before you all on this Wellness Wednesday again, to see you all and to know that whoever tunes in, that means that you are alive and well. Hey there, Sister Diane Lockhart. Yes, Lee, don't I have your shipment coming? Yes, I believe so. And I like updates from you all. Let me know how it's coming along. This way you can get in at least a 15-minute consultation. Be persistent like we are when we want them sales and, when we want that favorite food and dish that we want. That's what I encourage you all to do with me because, yes, it is just me as of right now. However, I am working on us getting the sister a time frame there because we have busy schedules for us to come before you. That's why I've been working on. It's the reason why I have not been able to tune in for Motivational Monday, as you all noticed for the last few Mondays, because I've been working on so many different projects, the different ones. As you all know, you keep me in your prayers. I'm going to get straight right to some things on this Wellness Wednesday because it's important. And I know because I was not the only person that had encountered probably some of these times. And since I know that I'm one of those people that I really do feel um, the the spirit and the energy of our people around me all over, even if you're in another country, I have to make sure that I ground myself and I stay in the midst of prayer and my elders and positive reinforcement. Yes, I come out with the laughter of the heart, the humor, as you all can see that is on Facebook sometimes. I'll put stuff out there because in that moment, that is me embracing that moment from a human and not just from the divine side. Yes, I know a lot of us get before here when we want to act like that we something that we're not. And when you're just human. Yeah, you are. Some of us, we have gifts, we have abilities, um, but you're still human. You're still just another creation of God. No big eyes, no little U's. As much as we sometimes feel like we need to feel that way in order to feel like we have purpose. No, you have purpose when you just fulfill the purpose. And you have purpose when you may not realize that you have it because someone haven't been able to get that out of you or you're not around a circle of people that can help bring that out of you. And so my prayer on this Wellness Wednesday is that everyone that tune in, that likes and share and subscribe, is that we all most definitely take out the time to make sure that we be healthy more in 2024. And when I say healthy, I mean from the mind, body, and the whole spirit. I've had some that ask me, well, why don't you just go ahead and open up sessions with scriptures and Bibles and things of that nature? And I'll be honest, that is something that I really do find quite fascinating. And it is a reminder of how I was raised. However, I realized that things in times like that you do because I honor and I find those things sacred. I don't take it for granted at all if I know that I'm going through a time in my life that I'm learning and that I'm growing and that I am asking God for mercy and grace to lead and guide me. I don't believe in playing with the word of God, and I don't, and not stating that I would, but I also don't believe in coming before my people acting like I'm something that I am absolutely not. And so, and I do believe I'm a firm believer that what's done in the dark always come to light, no matter how great one think or one thinks that they're hiding something. And so when you are raised with that type of conviction and you don't allow a gift or you don't allow because you're doing a good work to overshadow your true integrity behind closed doors, that's just not something that you would wrestle with. And so I know that I'm still in that phase, even though I come before the Wellness Wednesday to give back, because it's always a blessing to give back to others that may just need to hear and see that even though it looks like or may sound like somebody is doing better than you, or someone is more healthier than you, or someone portray themselves as having more God than you, or being more spiritual than you, I like to bring us back down to earth. Back down to earth where we are. And just to be that reminder that we are all God's creations, all God's creation. And we all, each one is supposed to teach one, each one is supposed to reach one in love and in kindness. Now, does that mean that we will never get angry? Nope. I am reminded of a scripture that says that be ye angry, but sin not. The problem comes into play is when we have our anger emotions and then we start to sin. And the sin that what we have been raised to believe is when you start lying, when you start cheating, when you start manipulating one another, when you start acting out in greed, when you start acting out, the new word is narcissistic, and pride and arrogancy. That's something that I pray daily that God never allowed me to have. Now, it's one thing to boast in God, and I mean to boast in Him from the heart of God. And I often most definitely still check myself even in that area, because even though there's writing in the scripture that says that God knows the heart, but man looks on the outside. Of my God, when we come before these platforms, that's all men do. That's all we do is look on the outside for the most part. But then there are His chosen few that have a gift of discernment, that can tell that no matter how much we're front, we all put on, no matter how much we try to hide behind our abilities and our gift of gab, is what we're going to like to call it, or our gift of talking and singing and dancing and entertaining and teaching and preaching, that they can tell when you're wrestling with something that is not good for you. They can tell when there's a darkness that is beyond what the naked eye can see. Because when we come before you, you all can hear our voice. You can hear, you can see our eyes. You can see the body language. You can see our movement. And it's just something that you just cannot hide for those who all that have the gift of being able to see beyond what the naked eye can see. It's a vibration in the voice, even when we're yelling. It's a vibration in the voice, even when we're talking soft. It's a vibration in the voice that we call vibration today, but it really is the spirit of the person. There's a scripture, and it reminds me of the scripture that says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak it. But then, see, I come up in an era where when you raise up in the quote-unquote church, and we talking about the sanctified church, where I grew up until I married out of the home and had children, where we were in church 6 days out of the week. And my family was the church. It was countless of us. And we were the missionaries. We were the ministers. Still is. We were the ones that had to clean the church. We were the ones that had to do all these things. And then we also stayed before prayer, Sunday school, Sunday, two and three services on Sunday. I mean, this was consistently nonstop. And if you thought you were going to miss, you got that phone call. Come on out, whether you sick or not. Whether you was going to get a healing or not, you had to come out. Well, when you raised like that, and you hear your mother and your father and your aunties, your uncles, and it don't stop with just my parents. It goes beyond my parents. It goes into the realm of aunties and uncles and great aunties and uncles and cousins and all these people that have this practice in the tradition that we say that comes from God. And they say that the Holy Spirit led them to practiced these, what we called good traditions at the time, that helped kept the families together. But more importantly, I heard more so than anything that a family that prays together stays together. But as I got older, I realized that it wasn't good enough to just pray, but that you have to pray in faith and you have to pray with the right heart. And so I'm thankful that even though I had that strong traditional value, growing up and having my mother being the first lady of the church, and then my step-up dad was pastor, my father operating in the ministry and as a deacon and things of that nature before he transitioned on as well, my biological dad. I I got a chance to see just so much in how we carry on in the gospel. And I'm watching it to this day. And I said, Father, give me what I'm supposed to be saying when I come before our people. Because today, at this time in my life, I think that it do me well. And it may do someone well today. So you're talking about wellness. I told you, it's from the mind, body, and the spirit, and your whole soul. Not just about, I will get to our natural products. I will get to what you can purchase to help me to be able to still help our people with their natural health and wellness. But more so importantly, it's been on my heart because I woke up. I got a chance to be on a prayer call and where we were able to enjoy the word with sisters and brothers from all over the United States and some from out the country was able to tune in. And it was teaching about the teaching was centered around how we treat one another. And y'all know I've come before you all many times about that. And some know part of my testimony that comes in. And they know I went through a horrendous time this last couple of years. It ain't just been since last year because I made a decision to focus on what I thought to be ministry in its own way. But wasn't being done in the right spirit and in the heart behind closed doors. And what I just shared with you, what was my upbringing, that was hard. It became challenging, became too much, because the one thing I never liked it was the thought of those of us that we believe that we say God called and chose us to do something is to be hypocritical behind closed doors. And no, that does not mean that you're going to be perfect. But that does mean that we're supposed to see you striving for the perfection. And so it's challenging for me not to see someone striving for the perfection that they often try to get out of other people. It's hard for me to see that we have those that's in position that will place a judgment on others. And here it is, you are guilty of all of them and some more. Very difficult for me. Very. And so it's safe to say that the Most High God, our Creator, some call him Jesus, some call him Yeshua HaMashiach, some call him Allah, some call him the Master of the universe. Whatever you call him, he's in control over this whole earth and the earths beyond these earth, the planets beyond this. I had that conviction and I still have it. And I told you all I will not come before you all unless I'm coming to it. I used to say 1,000, but then since somebody started using that on social media, that I realized it had some extra issues. Don't mean that they wasn't speaking some truth, but I was able to detect that the spirit in which they were speaking was highly questionable. And so I said, I'll up it to 1 million. And so I said, okay, Father, I believe that I had the internet issues that I had and had to upgrade because the Most High knew my heart. And there is something that I always been reminded of from my elders, from my parents, from my friends and loved ones, from those who truly labor in the gospel, from the right spirit, from a truly righteous spirit that's not questionable. And I said, okay, Father, what do you have me to come before? Because I am full spiritually. And I'm still able to, before I even see anything, I can feel it when the adversary is trying to be a distraction. While I still have my work to do that you gave me before I was born. That's the reason why you never hear me say, I can never say that I just started this in toddler stage. I started this as a toddler. caring for people, having a heart for people. And I also been accused of having too much heart. I even encountered that by some that was even the most closest to me, that knew all of my vulnerable spots, would criticize me for caring too much, question my love. And all I can gather out of that, so that my mind could be well enough to be able to come before you all today, is that they did it to Jesus. He was taken out by his own. They did it to every great leader. They questioned Job. And I don't see that as a gender thing. I think that's a spiritual thing. One could say that I went through my Job effect, losing my mother, my daughter, my firstborn daughter. They were angels. And yes, when I'm challenged with things, that's the first thing I do is I pray to God, but then I think about, man, I can't pick up that phone to call my mama. Or I have my firstborn daughter, my angel beside me, that knows how to hold my hand, and she wants to make you say hallelujah. Or she was just so spiritual that she look into your eyes and she make you have to clap your hands because praise was just in her. And so I found myself to be blessed to have and be able to birth a child that was one that showed reverence to the Most High God. And it didn't make me feel like I was more spiritual or greater than anyone. I just believed that God knew that the day and the time would come that I would have to speak before our people. And that I would have to help someone to overcome by the power of my own testimony. And I used to wonder, what did that mean when I was younger? And thought that was a good thing. But I said I was younger, I was a child. I would hear people expressing their testimonies and how God brought them out, how Jesus saved them, how he did all these great things for them. And I could feel it as they spoke it. And I used to say to myself as a child, man, I want to have a relationship like that with our God. But didn't know no better. I remember reading about the book of Job and how Satan petitioned to God for him and for a soul. And he said, have you considered my servant Job? And I remember that standing out to me when I was a little kid reading the Bible. And I remember thinking and praying by the time I hit 15 years young. I said, Father, I saw a fast forward of my life. And while all the other young girls, I pray to help someone like and share and subscribe, you all, because I'm most definitely speaking from my whole heart. And I was thinking to myself, I just remember crying out to God. And I saw him show me a fast forward of my life. Now, mind you, I didn't know if it was going to come to pass or if it was going to be true. I just know I saw that within seconds. And it was so overwhelming to me as I was kneeling to pray that all I could pray and all I could say was, Father, whatever you give me, whether I ever have children, whether I ever marry, whether I ever get the big house on the hill, whether I ever get enough money to help with the poor, whatever you do, don't take your spirit away from me. Whatever you do, if ever I go astray, whatever you do, if ever Satan come to try and make me to stop believing in you, I asked them at 15 to send your angels, send your chosen few to help me. And when I tell you that after everything that I've been through in my life, everything, and for every criticism for caring too much, he always sent his good soldiers, always sent me a praying mother, always sent me a praying father, always had someone there for me. And I promise you, if you do that and you ask God for his heart, he'll do the same for you. While you all are on your healing journey, whether it be from heartache, whether it be from cancer, whether it be for you just want to lose weight, whether it be from you wanting to see your children do better, whether it be some of you all are seeking husbands or wives, whatever it is that can be life-changing to you, but that is supposed to be a good thing so that you can be a light and the salt of the earth. He'll do it for you, but you got to ask him in the right spirit. You got to ask him to take away the pride. You got to ask him to take, and mind you now, when you do this, because I don't want no phone calls and things like, Dr. Chef, I did what you told me to do. And man, it seemed like I got test after test, trials after trials. You ask him for wisdom, it can only come through error. I asked for wisdom. And it was later on when I heard my elder mothers say that when you ask for wisdom, you ask for hard time, you ask for trouble. And so I've had it. No matter how much good I've done, no matter how supportive I've been, no matter how much someone doubted my motives, and I haven't had that much, but the few times that I have had it, it broke my heart to the point to where I had adopted the saying that I may not pass, if I ever go, I could never see myself going or leaving this earth in my flesh. I could not never see myself leaving here from an illness or a sickness, because I do my best to respect the temple that God has given me as much as possible. And any time that I have erred, I was very diligent about praying over my body, over what he gave me, so that I can continue to do the work that he had set for me, not for vanity reasons, even though I love being adorned in the way that God made a woman to be. But that was because I was taught to. That was because I understood that there's a scripture that said that he beautifully and marvelously made us. Now, many of us, if we're just only looking on the outside, then, yeah, we can say that some is more beautiful on the outside than others. But I was thinking more internally. And so someone complimented me not long ago, maybe about 2 days ago, and said, "You're very beautiful." But they grabbed my hand, they held my hand, and I know they didn't mean it in a lustful kind of way. They meant it in a, I could feel their spirit. And they said, "You're very beautiful soul, very beautiful soul." And all I could do was hold my head down. I looked back up at them and I said, "Thank you, all praises be to God for that." I said, "Keep me in your prayers." And so they went on to tell me, if you ever need to talk, if you ever need prayer, if you ever just need to just be, let me know. And I said, "Thank you so much. You have a blessed day." So I say all that to say, you all, everything that's poured into me, all the good that God pours into me, I do my best to give it back to you all when I can. I'm not going to be perfect at this, because I am a very personal, one-on-one type of person. I started out this healing ministry years ago, and started off even before I knew that that's what I was doing. I was just always trying to figure out a way to help heal our people. And my auntie constantly reminds me of that every time when I get a little sad, if I feel like, okay, I need to get a little bit more support in doing this and doing that. And she reminds me often. She said, Felicia Ann, because now they start giving me back my Ann in memory of my mother. I told you all what it means. It means God's grace. And I saying God knows I need it. So my mother and my grandmother knew what they were doing when they named me. My grandmother named me. So I got to a place to where I said, okay, when I started to stress this week, it was challenging because I was encountering some things, trying to make a decision on who I would partner with in for some investment for you all to get more of your products in, because we have some that's out of stock now. And I will let you all know which ones that are still in stock in the moment. And if it seems like I'm forgetting, then I need for you all to remind me, because I do see Shalom and who's that? Shalom, peace be unto you all. Assalamu alaikum. I love all my brothers and sisters. I love you all. I know everybody got busy schedules. I had to come before you all when I could. You all like, share, and subscribe if you can. And I was like, I don't want to make another mistake. I said, I just didn't want to make another mistake. God knows that was mostly in my heart. I said, I don't want to make a mockery out of you, no matter how much an ability I have to smile. And no matter how much people entrust me to make sure that what I'm giving them is good for the body. No matter how much money that I can make, I just want to make sure that I'm doing this with the right people. And what I mean by with the right people, I mean people with the right heart, not just the right intention, because I think that it is some truth too, that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think seeing you all tuning in, I'm sure you've done some things at times when you had some good intentions and it just turned out horrible. And I believe that's mostly because we don't often seek God's face first before we ask and say, Father, whatever your will be, let your perfect will be done. If it be your will, let me do this. And I used to say that all the time. And I noticed as time went by and life happened, and raising children and doing work and businesses, ministry, I realized I stopped saying it as much. And I noticed now, this is what I noticed in my life. Maybe you all have noticed it. The moment I stopped doing that as much and start just getting in the groove, because as we get more mature and you get to putting things into practice, you think you got this thing. Whatever it is that you have the ability to do, whatever you do well, we just flow with it. And before you know it, you're getting pats on the back and getting hand claps and people congratulating you and telling you how good of a job you're doing. And you start thinking that you're doing this yourself. You start getting puffed up and prideful. You start getting egotistical and arrogant. And don't even realize that the hardy fall is about to come. And even though I'm thankful that God, I don't feel that He ever allowed me to have to experience a fall that have to come from Him. But what I had experienced at a fall that I had to take in order to be able to fall back in love with my Creator. Because He never gave me permission to love Him more than I loved anybody else. And they never gave me permission to put anybody else first. Now, I'm just speaking to you all in what has been well with my soul on this Wellness Wednesday. What helps me to keep doing this, even when loved ones are leaving here. I'm going to say that I want you all to make sure that you keep Michelle Massey family in prayer. A mother that's gone. She was a really good friend of my mother, like an auntie to us. Continue to keep them in prayers. I know firsthand how tough it is to lose a mother. And especially if you have a spiritual mother, a loving mother, a supportive mother. And I was just talking to a brother about that because he too had lost a very special mother. The Those of you all that have had this to take place in your life already, I remember with ministering and coaching for 20 something years now, almost 30. I believe, yeah, it's 30 now. Time fly by fast. Every time I would see and talk to, it didn't matter what age bracket, didn't matter how successful they seemed to be, didn't matter whether or not they was a bishop, a CEO of their own business and company, didn't matter whether it was a man or a woman, didn't matter if they had children, didn't matter whether or not they was rich or poor. My experience has been is that it's something about when you have a good mother, something about when you got a praying mother, that when she transitioned, you feel like life would never be the same. You feel like you lost God. And so, now speaking to the brother, and as I was reminded, because we was talking about something spiritual, I was reminded of how my mother had a gift of drawing men and women from all walks of life. And I just remember people knocking at the door, saying, "Can I just speak to her? I need some prayer." She was gifted like that. I later on found out she was like that man. Y'all know that man. I think they call his name the Honorable Louis Farrakhan. Born on the same day, May the 11th. And I had to mention that because I saw it again in another mother that lived to be 100. And she was May the 11th too. And I was wondering what that was about. The only way I knew was because they were celebrating the birthdays. I said, something unique about these people. And if any of you all know someone born at that time, you might want to look into their gift too. And I was like, before I know it, strong men would come from round the way and they'd be boo-hooing, crying, and I could see my mother put her hand on their head and them holding their head down. And whatever it was, because I couldn't always hear the whole conversation. By the time she got finished, they had wiped their face, wiped their tears, and rose up. And they would be happy. They would walk away happy with confidence and come to the door slumped over. But by the time they got finished sitting down on the porch and talking to her, and she walked around, they were happy. They were. And my mother, I could hear my mother say, "Now, good God, praise, because he going to do it for you." And back then I would. Sometimes I would think, wow, this is a strange woman. And later on, I questioned a lot. What was it that was so divine about her? Because in my eyes, it was just my mother, and me being the oldest child, I just got used to knowing, just waiting on for the list of things that she had for me to do. So much so to sometimes I thought that she really didn't like me too much. He had a saying that, okay, she's going to work you like a dog. And finally, it took till I got grown, married with children. And my mother said to me, she said, Felicia, because I had been challenged in tests with someone that didn't do right by me. And years later, they came back to challenge. They misjudged me, accused me of something that was not accurate at all. It was just not accurate. They got me mixed up with someone else in the family. And here I am, I find myself explaining myself to someone that had caused me harm, that I had thought that I had forgiven. And I got to a place where I said, this ain't right. This ain't fair. And I cried like a baby because now I'm feeling these emotions and these feelings of anger. And how dare he question me after I forgave him. And then and there, I spoke to my mother. My mother said, well, if you forgave, there is no way you could be having these feelings. If you really gave it to God, if you really gave it back to him, then you would not feel this type of negative kind of way. And then she began to tell me that she said, you've been my dearest child. So if my siblings was watching, I'm sorry, y'all. No, I'm not. But that's what she told me. I said, and I had that. I was blessed to have the opportunity. I said, Ma, I never knew you felt like that because you always was telling me to do everybody else's job. You was always making me clean up behind everybody. Always telling me, to perfect something or get something together. Always telling me to be strong. And she would tell me, she said, that's because I knew that you were the strongest. She said, that's because I knew God put something special in you. And she wasn't talking about my gift of arts. She wasn't talking about the talent of singing. She wasn't talking about my ability to speak. She wasn't talking about my ability to sew and design clothes. She was not talking about my ability to play instruments. She wasn't even talking about my ability to take care and help out with my siblings. She wasn't talking about my ability to catch on and how to cook good. My ability to be a mother. My ability to be a good wife. She was talking about my ability to love. And it wasn't until my biological father passed. All this time I'm thinking that because I'm speaking to her the most, that I must get my heart from her because of what I just shared with you all, of how many people would come to the door. She told me, you get your heart from your father. I said, wow. I never knew that. I only seen my dad as a protector. I only seen him as one that just didn't play about his children. I just seen him as a strong, tall, Shaka Zulu man that loved listening to gospel music. And them said that he believed in prayer and he believed in helping out people. That's all I remember the most. And he didn't play about his daughters. And so I'm saying this with you all to say that, see, when you've been blessed, when you've been fortunate to get down to the root cause of what's ailing you, whether it be physically, spiritually, naturally, all in one, because one way or the other, it shows up in how you act. It shows up in failure with your kidneys. It's not just in the chemicals, y'all, and in the food. It's in your spirit. It's in how you think. It's in the childhood traumas. How you treat your mate. How you treat your brother. How you treat your sister. How you're capable of forgiving, truly forgiving and moving on. It shows up in your health and your wellness within your body. If you've never healed from it, if you're not on the healing journey, if you don't know how to, you can give me a call, 618-388-8100. You don't get through the first time, you keep trying. If at first you don't succeed, you dust yourself off and you try it again. Because I know y'all are here. Shalom, Sister Cynthia Bruce. It's good to see you. Sweet. Hey, Sister Jamaica. Congratulations on the book. I was so proud of you, Sister Jamaica. It brings tears to my eyes. So, hey, Sister Candy. Sister Edna, how you doing? Sister Diane, Brother Will. And I was sitting here, I'm like, we have to deal with those. I pray. I'm gonna get the Sister Jamaica to see if we can learn how to put this in. I want to share your book. You all, Sister Jamaica, if you all didn't know, she has 2 special needs, young men, and she's a phenomenal mother. And you all know, I know what that feels like since Nigeria's transition, to do all that you can in your life to revolve around it. And my prayer is that mothers, that especially when you have special needs children, as we call it, but I call them just special children from God, because they bring more goodness out of us than what we can actually put into them. Really, they do. They work patience, they work love, they work endurance, they work so much into us, and they give us a backbone to stand our ground when we have to protect them. Um, so I want you all to support Sister Jamaica. Even if you don't have a special needs child, I want you all, yes, I see the flyer, but I want to be able to broadcast it like I did for Sister Flossie, the one that had the book, if you all was tuning in some months back. I want you all to be able to, and she's got another really good book out, the one from Kenya, Sister Flossie, the bestseller book on the village vibe. I just spoke to her today, and we're supposed to be meeting up, and I want to be able to showcase that book. So I need to have one sent. So if I need the cash out, you Sister Jamaica, that's fine. I need the book sent. I want to show it. And I want you all that even if you don't have special needs children, yes, I am making this plea that you all take and purchase one for somebody that you know that have one. Even whether it's a co-worker, family member, your neighbor, just drop it off to them. Be kind. Give a gift to one another. This, you'll never know just how much it can encourage you, because I haven't even read all the way through it yet. I confess I haven't, so I look forward to reading it. But I know, Sister Jamaica, I gotta read it when I'm real, when I'm feeling real strong, because there's been the last few years of losing loved ones, I become the big crybaby. I guess because I didn't shed enough tears when I was younger coming up, because I was too busy trying to learn the lesson and still learning them. And so I want you all to do that for her, Sister Jamaica. If you don't mind putting the name of your book in the chat. I know you have it on Facebook, and I am going to share it on Facebook as well. Which leads me to realize and recognize that I left out my Facebook crew, so they're gonna get me. But I just had this heartfelt moment, and wonder why I got it. Like I said, I started off at 5 a.m. on the prayer line with brothers and sisters all over. And I had a couple of tests this week, and then I had some nervousness. So like I pray for you all, and I come before you all, I need you all to pray for me, because we all need it. That I make the best decision who to take the investments for. And if it's anybody that's here that's watching that wants to invest in the product line, because I do not want to go through the government or anyone else. I vowed that. I prayed about that before I actually invested in these things. I gave my last towards this when I could have taken that and put it towards a home and other things that most people would have done after splitting, having a family to split and things of that nature. It was in my heart to put it towards the product line that would help heal you all. And I think I've shared that before. And so now I'm at a place that, because I didn't charge as much as I was being advised to charge for it, because I wanted you all to get a chance to try them first, because that's how it works. Set prices up so high and price gouge to the point that, yes, you want to be able to have enough to be able to keep continuing on purchasing the products, but at the same time, my heart and my conscience was where I wanted for at least the average to be able to afford it. And even now, even though I know it's a lot of talk and the myth that everybody have money here, that's not true. Everybody don't. Some people are on fixed incomes. You have to have sense enough to know that what in every place that we live in today, whatever the average person make, whatever the average job is and income base is, that's where they have the cost of living. And so I'm mindful of things like that on purpose. I never see you all that's coming before me taking anything from me that God haven't given me the ability to give to you. It's not your job to take fully care of me. That is the job. I'm a grown woman. I'm a grown woman. And I have the ability to do things, to work. And then I can choose if I want to come before you all at certain times. It's 24 hours in a day. There are other things that I could do to make money. So I never want you all to ever feel that just because there's so many out there and just because there's products to purchase and things of that nature, that my thought and my frame of mind is that I want you all to take care of my whole livelihood. No, this is no more than my reasonable service for the knowledge that has been given to me, because I had to get it from someone myself. And they didn't ask for me to give them to pay for their whole livelihood. But what I do ask is that you all consider that if it has been good and you find the products to be pure. I know I did, because honestly, I taste a little bit of the elderberry. This is what I have left in stock, you all. While I'm talking about, I have the elderberry left in stock. I have the sea moss left, powdered sea moss left in stock, and I have the colon cleanse purifier left in stock. I have moringa, which, by the way, Sister Jamaica, I remember you do have some. Dr. Felicia, how are the boys? Oh, I'm sorry. You would have to ask their father how the boys are. I've not been able to keep them in prayers. I could tell you that much. Keep them in prayers. But the rest of the family, to my understanding, are doing well. Brother John, it's good to see you. Um, but yes, and so I want you all to make sure. Yeah, this is what I have in stock. But the chlorophyll is out of stock. The colloidal silver, which is a good thing. The B12 is out of stock. Yeah. The B12 is out of stock, and the zinc is out of stock. Yes, but and then the advanced multivitamin is out of stock. It usually takes a little bit to make sure that everything's there, but what is in stock is the mental boost that I have. That's really good. I have. It's just a matter of everybody in their busy schedule that's coming around, because I want the personal testimonies. And I know you can put people, chime y'all in, but my elders a lot of times don't know how to do that. And so I know if I invite them in and have them come up, but that'll be a session that will never end, you all. If any of you all tuned in, you heard the elder Zakiba Rudy talk about the mental boost and what it did for him and his Parkinson. Man, you would know that would never end. And so I'm trying to pace myself with that whole testimony thing. And my auntie keep getting on me. You got to get the testimonies out there. You got to get the testimony. And it's just that I've been so used to doing this for so long and being there like that, hovering my clients, like, as they say, the Harriet Tubman of health and wellness. I've been so used to being protective of you all. That's all it is. And I believe in privacy. And but I know it is good to hear when things are working. But back to the elderberry. I know y'all can get some at Walmart and all them other places, but I can promise you all it's not as pure as this. I'm telling you what I just experienced a couple of days ago. Let me see, what did I eat? I had something that I tried. It gave me some mucus in me. It wasn't fruit, obviously, and it wasn't no meat. But I started getting a little mucus in me because I was in the steam room, and I didn't like that it was there. So I said, okay, since I'm running out of colloidal silver, and I just didn't want to do the zinc at the time. I just didn't feel like tasting it. I'm be honest, I just didn't feel like tasting it. And so I said, well, then do the elderberry. You got some extra elderberry. So I did the elderberry, and I'm just thinking the taste, the real good, pure sweetness of the elderberry. And oh my God, it just clicked me out. It was just how smooth it was going to just coming out of me. And I was like, oh my Father, I did not know it was, I did not know that it was this good. I had taken two. The first time I only took one because I can tell the smell, and I trust the company that was providing it. And I've had the feedback from you all. And so I knew that it was good, but personally having to take it more than a few times because I hadn't had that issue, I was like, oh my God. And so I do recommend this, not just because this is the one I had in stock. It just so happened I had purchased more of the elderberry in stock because I knew that this would taste better for you all. So the elderberry is $30. It is $30 for a 2-ounce bottle in comparison to the smaller bottles. See that's a 1 ounce. This is a 2 ounce. So you do get more, and you can tell the effects of it within 1 or 2 drops. We're breaking up any form of mucus, and making sure that it declogs the system, just like the colloidal silver. But the colloidal silver, I noticed, it helps to clear out the chest as much. So, Mom, I'm saying all this and sharing all this with you all to state that anybody that wants to consider becoming an investor, then you can call, let me know that you're interested. That would range from anywhere from 500 to a grand. What that would entail, and I will share more because don't everybody call in at once, is that you will get me as your personal naturopathic practitioner. And I would teach according to spiritual advice, bereavement, mental health and wellness, family dysfunction. I know about that. Um, all different types of your ailments under the sun. You would be allowed so many consultations throughout the month for your entire immediate family. And yes, I will make exceptions for mama and daddy, okay? Or for grandparents, and along with any other products that we have in stock that you need for yourself. It would include that as well, along with discounts as well. And so to become an investor for now, until I build up my line, that would be 3 of the top benefits of having me. And then also that also means is that if I'm able to keep the flow, the supply and the demand up well without having to compromise raising the prices up higher, then that also means that if there's something, events and things that you're having in your town or your city, and I'm able to work that out to where I'm working on the freaking 5 miles and credit and all that now, I'm also willing to come to town. I'm also willing to do Zooms. You'll be open for Zoom calls as well. And we can set that up because I'm working on that as well. That's not something that's hard. And so we'll be able to, as they say, really truly connect and fellowship there. And it may lead to many other blessed things in the health and wellness business. That is the way that I prayed about and asked God to share with me, since some of you all that really do show your support already, which I highly appreciate you all, Sister Jamaica, Sister Edna, Sister Candy, Sister Cynthia, you all that that actually give in, that gives to me when you think that it's nothing. Brother Allen, oh my God. Now let me tell you something about even when you give little. I will speak on this because I'm a giver, and I'm going to tell you all, I struggle with it. I'm not going to lie. I told you I'm going to keep it 1 million with you. I struggle with asking for things because God has always blessed me to be able to have and to be a giver. And so the first time in my life was this past year of when the adversary got into someone that we all needed to pray for. I got down to the least of income I ever had in my life just because of the way it was done. And I just really didn't expect it. But nevertheless, that put me in a position for the first time since I was 16 years young. I'm 48, yo, all finna be 49. You do the math. I start questioning. And he said, wait a minute now, have I not always taken care of you? This is my talk I'm having with God. And I'm saying, oh, yeah, but never have I not been able to do, because now at this time I'm trying to move. I'm getting stuff. I got things in 3-4 different places. I wasn't used to having to call on so much help. It was just so much that I had to do, along with trying to find my peace and my serenity of accepting that my daughter was no longer here. And as you know, Sister Jamaica, how challenging it. Can you really imagine not having to work your life around your child that you've always had to do everything for? Can you really imagine yourself? See, we get over a lot of times if you're in relationships and that ends because grown folks do whatever they want to do. You can kind of see the signs of when grown folks are going wayward and they make excuses for why they won't be loyal. But when it comes down to your children, we as mothers and parents, you always expect your children to be there, and we always expect for them to outlive us. And so that being said, I just got into a place where I was so used to my routine. and then all the other work that I was doing on top of that. And then I got to the space where I said, okay, Father, I feel my faith being challenged, even though I'm still putting in the work. And all I kept hearing was keep doing the work, keep giving. This is the only way you're going to know that you have my heart. And the only way you'll know, too, is if you do it. If you do it with my spirit. So it wasn't good enough just to do the work, because I told you what always comes to scripture, what always comes to mind is the scripture when they said that the men and women obviously was spiritual, so-called religious people, were going to come to him. He said, Father, I healed in your name. Father, I preached in your name. I taught in your name. I gave you, and I did this, that, and other. And they were going to be using God's name. And he said, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I knew you not. I believe in that, y'all, because I see it. I see it myself. I see it from others. And why did he say, depart from me? I was confused at first until I read on. He said, because your hearts were far from me, meaning you did it for your own self-glory. You did it for your own self-glory. And now that we're living in this internet stage, you can see where, and even when you get a chance to go out and abroad, you can see the puffness, you can see the pride, you can see the arrogance. And even when they try to confess, to try to say that I'm just humble, if you humble, you ain't even got to say you are. It's no saying that we used to say, if you a woman, you ain't got to say you're a woman. We can see you a woman. That's the same for attributes. If you that, then we can see it. And so I had to learn to just constantly keep myself when things got low and things start challenging me in the work that I'm doing for our people. Okay, Father, how am I going to keep this up and focus on making sure everything is good if I go back and do a 9 to 5? Because that's what the devil said to me. Go back and do. Forget what you done for 30 years. Just whatever. Just the arrogancy of it. And I had to look that Satan in the eye. I did, and I said, you know what? It's just like when Yeshua was crucified, hung on the stake. God, he had to look up to the heavens and ask him, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And if you notice afterwards, for those of you all that are believers in it, they said that if they had known that he was the Son of God, they would have never crucified him. Now, we think that only applies to certain men, but no, that applies to any of us. I'm a firm believer that applies to any of us that have been wrongly done, that have been misused. And I've encountered that quite a few times within this last few years of my life, more so than ever before. And I started questioning, Father, why? And he started showing me this is why. And I shared this before, and I pray that you all do the same thing. You all learn to do the same thing whenever you're doing the work for God. You always, if you're doing it for Yeshua, if you're doing it for Allah, you say you're doing it for your creator, whoever you're doing it for, that's supposed to be the higher being in your life. You make sure that you're doing it from the right heart and not for the praise of another. Because it says that if you be lifted up by men, you will come. They will be the ones who's going to tear you down when they find out that you are a hypocrite. When they find out that your heart was far from God. And the people will find out. They already know. So that's something that I'm real cautious about. I'm very self-conscious about. Even when I've heard lies and rumors, I'm very conscious about that. Because I'm like, then I had to be reminded again. They say, even if it be a lie that be told, you make sure that it not be true. That's our job. If there be a naysayer, you make sure that you examine what the naysayer is saying. Make sure that it's not true. And even if it's true, you correct that. The same way you have to when you realize that your blood pressure is up. You don't just keep eating red hot ribs. You don't just keep eating spicy foods. You know, oh, my blood pressure going, my blood, and here, pass me the fried chicken with the hot sauce. Oh, yeah, by the way, go ahead and give me that Mountain Dew. No, you stop. You fast. You get you some fruit in your system. you start to cleanse. That is, if you don't want to have your high blood pressure up so high until you suffer about having a stroke. It's the same way we have to do in the spiritual realm, no matter who you say you believe in. And I have to talk universal like this because that's the way God has given it to me, y'all. I can't speak no other kind of way. He made all of us. And I'm able to see that by the time all this is said and done, by the time the wars come, no matter what you claim you believe in the Bible and the Torah and the Quran, doesn't matter what you all believe in, we all gonna have to work together at some point. You're gonna have to, everybody's gonna have to pitch in. I've said this, I have said this and made this example before about how we all have to be careful not to be hypocrites. Not just in thinking that you're gonna holler that you holy and that you clean and that you're righteous and that your heart is right and I'm doing a good work or that I'm moral. Just for people just to dig a little bit and find out that you're everything but the opposite of that. Or they just got to speak to the right person who knows better than that. But we all going to come to a place, and you already have experienced it from time to time. If your car is broke down, here I am, I'm finna go here, y'all. If your car is broke down in the middle of nowhere, or as we used to say in the boondocks, the worstest thing that a so-called black person want to do is be stranded off on a back road in a country where you say there's some rednecks. And you see a police officer come up. And he come up just asking, are you okay? Do you need help? First thing you do, if your license ain't messed up and you got your insurance and everything together, you happy, you feel relieved. You're not going to ask that man if whether or not he's a Muslim. You ain't going to look up and say, you know what, hold on, officer, before you check me, are you Hebrew? You're not even worried about the color that he is if he asking, are you okay and do you need some help, if he's doing that. You're not worried about if whether or not if your house is on fire. This is what I love the most. I've experienced that partially happening. Wait a minute, hold on. Lift up your arm, a helmet. Wait a minute. Are you an atheist or are you Christian? You're not going to ask that fireman that got the hose that's able to put out the fire before your whole home get destroyed. You just want the help. That's why so many of us, including myself, have been so gullible when we see people acting like they truly helping with the right heart. Just for me to find out. And the reason why that's so true is because I just came across a study because I know so many that work in the different fields. Or I know of them. And I ask them about their job. I always want to learn, even if it's something that I don't practice. Or as they say, not my field of expertise. I asked them, and I came across an article, and they said it used to be a time in certain parts of this country where it had been found that there were some firefighters of the other persuasion, and don't go beating up y'all firefighters, y'all. Y'all know y'all need them because they do more than that. They get the jaws of life to help open up cars when cars are mangled up. They do a great work. But it used to be a time, and there are times when if they know that there was another person of our color and our persuasion, where they would let the house burn down, even if it was children in it. And they had records, and they was able to see it based off of knowing what ethnic background that they were of. But when it came down to the Caucasian, they were saving them. They were making sure that they came out right away because they knew the area, the green line and then the red line. So I get why millions of our people are leaving here. I get it. Because they feel like they can't trust. But I say we need to be more concerned about the heart and how you treat people that would determine how God can shield you no matter where you are at. You need to be more concerned about how you treat people behind closed doors and those who have helped you, that has truly helped you to get to where you are, than to be lying and make it seem like you did everything yourself when you did not. Need to learn how to appreciate one another when those who have helped healed you. But because you could not no longer take advantage of them, or because you couldn't get them to be your slave, that you choose to disrespect them. We need to learn how young folks, I got to speak to us. You got to learn how to, and grandmama finna come out. But more so than anything, it's going to be wisdom. We need to learn how to truly respect our elders and not for how they can make us look like we some good children. Yeah, I said exactly what I meant to say, children. Stop hiding behind grandmama and granddaddy. Do good when they're not around. Respect them when they're not around. We have to learn how to practice what we teach. At least, I'm going to go as far as say 90-10. Because to whom much is given, meaning much knowledge, much is required. You can't say, I know, and you don't apply the knowledge to yourself. That's hypocrisy. That means you don't know. That means you don't know how to apply the knowledge. So that means that you just, as they say, all talk. I come forward and I speak because I realized that I've done this for years. And I had so many to say, well, Felicia Ann, I think it's time for you to write a book because you experienced more than what people could ever imagine that you have experienced in your little time on this earth. But more important, your perspective and your spirit and where your heart is. People need to hear it. And yes, I am going to do it in due time. I have a goal, if it be God's will, if it be His perfect will, to do so. But I'd like to wait because I do believe that in your patience possess you your soul. Just because you have the ability to do something, or as we like to say, a gift to do something, doesn't mean that it's always the right time to do it or with the right person to do it. Now that's wisdom that I've learned. And you'll know because it's not going to last, no matter how good of a work that you're doing. Because once again, it matters the heart and why you're doing what you're doing. See, we are people that are like sheep, dumb sheep led to the slaughter. And all as it takes is for somebody to have a rod or a staff or a place to put you in to make you think that they really care. Until we do like little kids. You know how we used to be. I don't know about y'all, but I used to be nosy. I used to want to hear everything that mom and them was talking about, and they knock on the door. Like, who is that? And something always creep. And you try to make like, oh, what mama and them talking about? I was nosy. I wanted to know. And then you hear what's really going on in the family. So I was never really in the dark. Not really. I knew my uncle was acting the way he was acting. I knew when somebody didn't let somebody see their child. I knew, but I wasn't nothing I could do about it. I remember seeing my mother and my father and them lay out the cash and decide what bills they were going to be paying and what they was going to be taking care of and what they wasn't. But as long as they had food on the table, light, and all the things that we take for granted today. And that's how I learned how to prioritize. That's why when I had to give up the things that I had to give up, the vanity, that's why it wasn't that kind of challenging. I only had it because the only part that was challenging was that I'm thinking about that was the last place my daughter was at. And only an evil spirit would mock that. Only a heartless person would mock that. Only someone that is of the wrong spirit would try to take advantage of that. It leads me to say, give a special shout out to sister. You know who you are, lady. You know who you are, Lady T. She sent some things to me to help me put some things into perspective. She sent a beautiful big donation and offered me a chance to come out the country. I didn't find out till later that a conniving spirit took her up on the offer. And that's why I continue to do what I do now. Because I found out, and God allowed me to, because I asked him to allow me to see the truth for what it is. Don't allow me to get tripped up again. Yeah, I said just like that. You gotta know how to speak plain. I said, Father, don't allow me to get tripped up again. And let me see that the spirit was an impulsive lying spirit. And that you are supposed to stand still. Keep doing the work no matter how tough it gets. You move when I say move, just like that. You are not to be led astray no matter how good something look. My sheep know my voice. The day that you hear it, harden not your heart. You can do a good work wherever you go. And if you're not received, then the question is if you're not received, then what spirit are you? What is it about your spirit that's not allowing you to be received? And he told me about that too. You be careful with our poor. You be careful with our needy. You be very careful with our vulnerable. I know better than that. Y'all be careful. You be careful. You're not supposed to mock God. I don't care how good of a person you think that you are, how magnificent you think that your gifts are. It's only a matter of time before your real spirit, the truth, comes out, what your true intentions are. It's only a matter of time. So I admonish you all on this Wellness Wednesday to be well in your spirit first. Don't just be a reader of the word, but be a doer. And if you're not doing it, be honest enough with yourself to make that confession unto God for yourself. Don't say you're something that you're not. Don't make it seem like just because you want praise from others, that you're better than anybody. And don't say that you don't think that you are, but then turn around and act like you are. That's hypocrisy. One thing I've learned about our people all over the world is that the moment they realize that they've been hoodwinked in any shape, form, or fashion, because money gonna only last us so long, they would be the very ones that'll burn you at the stake. And so we have to be careful, y'all. We living in a time where everybody is desperate. We living in a time where everybody's looking over their shoulders. We living in a time where everybody want to see a light. Most people want to see good. I believe that most of us want to see something good. Even if we can't embrace, even if you can't do it yourself. Unfortunately, because of the great manipulation that we have here, because we live in a world that has been set up to show us images that are false, show us lies, because we are able to do it. And because we're born in sin, shaping into iniquity, the nature of mankind come out. I can't sit here and tell you that my father, just because he had a good heart, that he was a man that only had the sin and just not eating the right food. That'll be a lie from the pit. But it's also not my place to drag my daddy either for any wrong that he's done. But I'm not going to sit here before y'all and make y'all think that just because he had a good heart and he helped people and he labored in the gospel, that means that my father had never done no wrong. And that makes me greater and so moral. Or just because my mother prayed for everybody that came away and fed the homeless and took care of them and was a good wife and was a good mother and a good grandmother and this gifted woman that could pray people in and out of and her only. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that my mother's only issue is that she just didn't eat right. How would that look? Don't that make God look so unjust? If they only took them out just for not eating right. And they didn't done all them good works. If that's all that it was. Y'all, it takes a lot to share things like this. But I believe that those of us that are left here, we need to learn from one another's mistakes. And it's a hard thing to have to say these things sometimes. But when you're chosen to do a thing, you have to do it. No matter how challenging it gets, no matter how unpopular it is. And there's a spirit in which you're able to do that. That doesn't have to come off like you're somebody judge or like you prideful, or like you better, or like any of us are better. We all have sinned and fallen short of God's glory. All. Now say that the Bible is changed with that. We can't pick and choose, you all, when we talk. And I'm always talking to my so-called spiritual brothers and sisters. I'm talking to my Hebrew brothers and sisters. I'm talking to my Muslim brothers and sisters. I'm talking to some of our Christian brothers and sisters. I'm talking to all of my brothers and sisters, the ones who practice Buddhism. I'm talking to all of you. Practice what you teach. Ask God to give you a real, pure, true love of God in you so that we all can see the light. So that we all can come together and put the devil on the run. Because we're going to have to. I ain't never seen a time throughout history. And we even seen it with even with the Haitian being the only people of our color that won their battle, won their war. You see how Satan took and got to them? How they all in their poverty now? And he's still talking about using Kenya. Yeah, I know. I do my homework. Still talking about trying to use troops from Kenya to take over Haiti, to take us. They figure because they the mixed breed now that they know them, that they can use our own people to take them to fight against their own like they've been doing. See, that's how the adversary work. Oh, y'all thought that just happened with husbands and wives, huh? Y'all thought that just happened with siblings that's jealous of one another, huh? They doing that with nations. And we sitting in the midst of it, thinking that we the great I ams. When you the great nothing. If we're not making peace in the midst of the storm, then that means that you are the storm. And you're taking away the peace. It's going to take all of us to do that. In a time of crisis with Katrina is a perfect example. Even though we have many proofs and reports that a lot of our children came up missing during that time, families are still displaced from one another. Y'all ain't heard about it? I have. Everybody had to work together. Everybody. There's enough famine in the world. There's enough poor all over the world for us all to be able to try to help one another, not just in one place. But if that's where God have you to be, then that's where you be. But be careful about how we put our tongues on other nations and other people, because you don't know what God is doing with them. Some have to go through what they have to go through and have to be tried through the fire so that they can come out like gold. Just like we individually do in our time with our own personal lives. So who are we to judge? We get the chance to do that with our family and loved ones and people who we have had close encounters with. Because don't nobody know like we know. But when you come before these platforms, I've learned that there is a great deception that can make us all think different. And yeah, it can vex your soul when you know different. When you know better. And when you know more. My thing is, and I told my brothers and sisters to pray for me. I said, I just don't like seeing people taken advantage of. I just don't like seeing people being lied to. I don't like lying. I don't care for liars. I don't like liars. I love you to life, but I can't stand manipulators and liars. I understand if your life is up against, the back is up against the wall, and you about to lose your life like Peter. But this is not the case. If I'm not riding with you, if I'm not with you, and a lot of you all are the same way. It's because you have done some atrocity things. It ain't because it's none little. And that means you've done it over and over and over and over and over again. I'm loyal to the bone. But I'll be doggone if I sit here and let social media and I let money and I let a little fame and I let what it looks like on this computer make me compromise my spiritual integrity and the heart of God that He's given me. Not gonna do it. I refuse to. I'd rather wait to see in the end. Because remember, there is a scripture that says that the race is not given to the swift. And boy, can we be swift. It's not given to the strong, but boy, can we boast in how strong we are. It's not given to the fastest. I did that fast. But it's given to he that endures to the end. If every job you had, every position you had, you hurried up and got through it before you was able to truly learn the lesson, that means you didn't learn the lesson. You didn't endure nothing. You keep talking about your short period of time you done something. You didn't learn no lesson. Trying to find the next high. Y'all, we got to be careful with that. Sister Jamaica, your book is going to take off. I just spoke life into you with that. It's going to hit so many people. It's going to touch so many hearts. There's so many parents because we're living in a time where now 1 out of every 10 families have an autistic child or special needs child. That's what I want to collaborate with you for us to be able to build funds up for parents that need help. I want to be able to give them care packages every month without having to charge them. Or even if they do pay a fee, that fee goes into helping another family to be able to keep their children more healthier so it can take the stress off of them. So I want to say that here online. You hear me? That's what I want to do. Since you've been such a support and a help to me as well. Seeing you continue on with 2 special needs children. I know how challenging that is just for one. Even though mine was as sweet as she want to be, except for when it's time for her to tear up some food. I took care of my daughter the whole time through with some help from my daughters. My sister would pitch in when I started to travel a little bit. Which brings me to you all keep my sister in prayer. My sister Joanna, you all see her tune in from time to time. She has wrestled with, is that Sister Jeanette? Oh my goodness, it is beautiful to see you, Sister Jeanette. How you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Oh. Keep her in prayers. She is the one that was with my daughter an hour before she transitioned. My sister, just so you all know what specifically to pray about, for the past 20-some years, she has wrestled with Graves' disease and heart condition that has affected her. She's a year and a half younger than me. And I always seem, you would think that when we talked that I was 20 years older than her because she's so used to me finding a way to nurture and care for her. And it's taken a lot out of her since my daughter passed and after my mother passed. It has out of a few of my family members because my mother was that pillow, that spiritual, loving, supportive pillow. And she's passed the torch on to me. So I want you all to keep her in prayers. I don't know how long we have with her. My prayers is that we have longer. But as you all know, when you work into this system and you go through this medical system, the body can only take so much. And no, I do not want to come before you all saying that I've lost another immediate family member. But what I am going to say is that I believe that God can give us strength to go through anything. And no, it's not going to stop me from helping those of you all that do have the strength, that do have it in you to want to do it the natural, godly way by eating the medicine foods of God. Not going to say that. Because, I mean, this is part of it. This is the fire. This is This is what determines. If you, like I said before, the Job effect, if you lose a mate in the midst of it because they want to question your faith in God, if you lose your whole family, if you lose, and I mean if you lose it, not if you ran them away, not if you know that you've done so many ungodly things to where that's what the outcome is. I mean it, and when you know that you've been before God's face. I mean, when you've been before God's face, doing all that you know you can do, and you lose all that was close to you, that He can restore and renew that you all. He can. He will. I believe in that. So no matter how many loved ones that transition, that don't go by the way of eating to live, whether it's because of deep depression, whether it's because their heart is broken for losing a loved one, I have to come before you all continuously. I have to continue to do this work because this is what I believe that He actually, this is what I was birthed for. The scripture said that He knew you before you entered into your mother's womb. I come from a line of teachers, pastors, preachers, not just one, several, community leaders. That's what's on both sides of my family. I have to carry on that torch, but I have to do it in the divine way that the Most High has designed for me to do it. And so I want you all to be encouraged and to do the same. And so once again, I'm letting you know too what I'm working on, which is good. And yes, the sister just where I have to get back to her, you all, I do have one item that is golden that I did say that I was going to mention that I had, and make sure I get it. I mentioned it to you all when I went to Detroit for Savior's Day. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. Make sure I get this. And let me show it to you all so you all know it's real. This is the product. Like, share, you all. People are going to want to see this. This is the liquid vitamin D3. The vitamin D3. This is the vegan one. It's a 10-ounce flow. This is the vegan lemon with omega-3 vitamin D supplement in it. When I tell you, and it tells you how much of it that you should take in a little glass cup according to if you are 150 pounds under or over. Mine is a 7 point is that I need to take. I've been taking this for the last couple of days. I told you all I would come before you all with a liquid vitamin D that's powerful. More importantly, those you all, if you want to come to the meeting or want to find out when they're going to have a meeting, and yes, y'all see the smile on my face after all that. Woo! But I'm so thankful that I finally got it because I could not, in good conscience, after doing more research about the other DHA EPA that I was using. For all means, if it works for you, then I'll praise to be to God. Then that's good. Can continue on doing so. But when I did my research, I learned that from the cardiologist that it wouldn't be good to continue for melanated people to continue to take anything with safflower, sunflower oil in it. And that's what I have been taking for the last couple of years. Now, this one does not have that. This one is with our most potent brand of olive fruit oil. That's what make it plant-based. DHA, EPA, omega-3. With the omega-3 fatty oils, the algae oils, the EPA, the DHA, and DHA, that 2 grams, 702 milligrams, 113 milligrams of it. And also it has a polysaccharide in it. It has vitamin D, 12.6 milligrams in it. I told you I was going to get it, y'all. God always answers the real good prayers. And the reason why this is so vital is because, you know, those of us here that stripped us so much. And the good thing is, remember when I told you I bumped my knee and I put my knee into the sun when we had sun? But then there's times when we don't have the vitamin D sun. It was starting to flame back up, you all, because that was the only one time I went back out there. I needed to do that on a regular. I took this And I'm going to share the testimony on the live stream. So those of y'all that's interested, yes, it is a business opportunity for you all. You all can come on board with me if you want to be able to use this rent. And they got a whole nother line of products. I don't feel like it's going to take away from my product line. My thing is for you all to get the best of the best. Okay. And so I've taken this for the last 3 days. I told you I had to try it out, especially when it's something that's powerful and is critical as this. This the inflammation in my knee, the pain that I was having in my knee is gone away in 3 days. Only with taking this 3 times. I've been struggling with that for the last couple of weeks, y'all. And it'll go down and come back up, go down, come back up. I've not done nothing else different. I didn't take anything else. I didn't even take my moringa. I didn't take the sea moss because I want to make sure I had enough in stock for you all. I didn't do any of that. That's the only thing I changed. And so I have my own personal testimony in that as I was walking upstairs where it was the pain starting to get worse and worse and worse to the point where I was starting, I'm like, wait a minute, I know I ain't got Arthur. But I knew where it was. I bumped my knee twice and I didn't cater to it at all. Because I'm just on the go, just trying to get things done. And so this was it. And I was like, oh my God, it does. And all the powerful testimonies that you all actually go online now. And yes, you can go on Zoom. They have a Zoom call where people come on and give their testimony. Most of the people of our persuasion as well. They ain't lying. They got all different types of jobs from all different types of persuasion. So at least y'all been get testimony from out of this for sure. And yes, they are ready for Dr. Chef to come on board, y'all. I have to get up at least $500 more to be able to get in completely. Because the other big thing about this company with this oil is that they have testings that I can order for you all to be able to take to test your vitamin D3 level. And that can text your overall cellular system, tell you what you need in your body. So now we don't have to go through talking about what condition you might have, where you from, what country you from, what you eating and what you're not eating. The test and come back within a week or two, and you all know exactly what you need to apply to your body, get your body to that ultimate health that you need. So that's the best news that you all could have held out for wellness Wednesday outside of the spiritual talk. And so I'll tell you now that you all most definitely want to stay tuned. I will be airing this next Sunday. The brother Frank Kimbrough that I told you all about that introduced us to this when he was in Detroit, Michigan. He will be here in St. Louis up the street from my office. And I will be going for the presentation. And whoever that's in town that may like and share this and may be looking at this afterwards, and you all hung on in there for the next bout of time that, oh my goodness, I didn't know that time went by that fast. Yes, y'all, I got to wrap it up. You all are welcome to come so you can hear it for yourself and you can see they got different packages deals that you can go to trial for these products. My job is to make sure that you all have one of my tasks is make sure that you all get the best, the most highest quality of potent vitamins. Okay, that does not come with a whole lot of a negative energy. That is not coming from any type of questionable companies at all. That also was a prayer of mine that I be able to get things produced from people that are actually doing it with the right spirit. And then I also, drum roll, y'all have been looking, sisters that look for grease. I'm gonna show y'all my hair in a minute. I got it twisted up now, and yes, it's black hole. I did the whole twist thing. I had to stop doing the wrap. So y'all wonder why come I'm not doing right? It was thinning out my edges because sometimes it was just not that material wasn't the best material, no matter how cute it was looking out. It was not good. So I found Dr. Omni. I don't know if you all remember him from Chicago. He had the beard. Before there was a lot of craze and talked about Dr. Sabi. Dr. Omni was in the picture, you all, with the beard. Let me see, can I pull up his picture? I could not believe that I met him. And the good thing about Dr. Omni and his products. Let's go. All right, I heard that. I got the drum roll. The good thing that I learned about Dr. Omni, you all, is that not only that he's been a natural, they stole his products, y'all. They stole his label brand. Big corporations stole the black man, y'all. Our own, y'all. It's that I am finna go into business with him. And you couldn't make this up. I didn't I didn't know it was going to happen. He took to me. I told him who I was. He smiled. He had a beautiful spirit on him. He's one of our elders. I think Dr. Omni may be about in his 80s, looking like he's in his 60s. Whatever his age is, I did not ask him his stage in life because he was standing upright in good health, looked really great. I'm going to be able to produce this grease for you all. It has grown back my edges along with me. Let my hair breathe some. The grease, it keeps her hair oil. You ladies, y'all know. Come on now, y'all. Y'all remember when we used to be stuck on our grease, and now all of a sudden the people start talking about the oils, and oh, you're not supposed to just to do the oils because we wanted to. Really, what that was about was flat ironing our hair, y'all. Y'all remember that? That was about flat ironing our hair. Yep, I'm doing this on the live stream. That was about flat ironing our hair, right? Remember, y'all, with keep that hair thick for the most part, and from drying out the scalp, the hair was growing. Our hair was growing with the grease. Well, this was Dr. And it's nice and fine. Smell is not no bad smell at all. It was with the grease. And I'm not taking off, y'all, because I want to do a reveal. I'm going to do it before and after. I like covering my head some. And I'll do it before and after. I've had my hair out before. Y'all know I'm ahead. But y'all going to see. Y'all can go back on some of the pictures when I had my hair, and you can see where it was thin. And now y'all going to see where it's thicker. And this is some of this grease that I've been using for the last, I call it grease. This is some of this grease that I've been using for the last, since I went to Detroit, since 2 weeks ago now. It's the tried and the true, honey. And it's keep my hair oiled up. I get a chance to spray it with water. I just got it all twisted up all over now, right now. And I just covered them now because I just didn't feel like wearing it out. I just didn't feel like wearing it out. And okay, yeah, I wanted to match a little bit with my thing. Okay, tell the truth and go to heaven. And so I will be able to do label reading, go into having my own Dr.Chef brand with this. But once again, you all, the investors, I need a few investors. I'm not a greedy person at all. Anytime I've taken more or accepted more for anything, it was only to give back to my family and to help other people. I can assure you that I'm down in the records for that. And so we got the vitamin D3 along with another chain that's coming through liquid that heals the body from some of everything underneath the storm. We have people that have tumors, fibroids, everything. Taking the D3 right here with the omega-3s and all of that, and they come in vegan. And for those, unfortunately, that may be still struggling with meat eating, they do have the ones for those who they eat meat too. I pray that you all are doing your best to wean off of the toxic meat. And so is that it? Oh, and then when I was out as well, I also came across, I do recommend now, this is not anything that I'm going to profit off of, except for profiting from hearing you all say that you are healed and you're well. Soursop. I've been constantly getting asked about it. One of my clients, brother Demas, has been asking me about it because he ordered it. It was a brother there at Savior's Day that was selling this. I don't know if he's from Jamaica. He's from somewhere. Persuasion. He was with his son. And it's the Good Health brand. This is the brand of the Soursop that I think that you all want to go with. Be careful, though. It cleanses the gut. This soursop is good for fibroids, hypertension, tumors, lower back pain, cholesterol, improved digestive system, diabetes, waist pains, promotes good circular system, cancer, suppress inflammation, high blood pressure. But what I'm more impressed about is liquid, and look how much you get, y'all. And y'all know the soursop plant is the bomb, diggity bomb. Can I say that? It's the bomb, diggity bomb. I'm afraid to take because I just feel like I'm just gonna levitate. So some stuff is so powerful and everybody know about it, or enough of us know about it. So hey, wait a minute, I ain't there yet. Because I'll be honest, sometimes I'll be like some of y'all. Not that I'm doubting the potency of it or how good it's made, but sometimes I'm like, oh Lord, I don't know if I can handle being floating and just glowing like Shekinah glory. I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. Come on, y'all got to even this out. Y'all know how we got to do this. Got to even this out. And so I'm like sitting up here like, oh, my Father, I'm so thankful to find these good things. So this brand, Soursop Bitters, is what it is. All natural remedy. And it is considered a colon cleanser too. For those you all want liquid, you don't want to go with the powder. I advise you all to go on Amazon and get this. for you all else fail. My job, what I want to do is that even if we hit a famine, you can't get to food. You need to have something to fall back on in a time of sickness and ailments. And then you all know to store up on your dry fruits, store up on your dry grains, store up on the trick is your meal prepper. Get your beans, your sprouted beans, grind them up, add powder, mix, dry fruit mix that they have now. Put those together. Store up on you some good filtered water or good spring water, and that way, if something ever come up, you all, and we have to deal with the shutdown. Thank God we didn't have to go deal with the shutdown that I mentioned last week. That's why I said I didn't know 100%, but I wanted to share it to make sure you guys prep. That does not mean that we're supposed to get comfortable and not prep, you all. That's not what that means. And it doesn't mean that we're supposed to be afraid either. It's just better to be prepared than to have to get prepared. We know that we live in a world where at any given time you can look up and a country is being hit. Right now, it looks like that's going to be America, but it's going to be some in between. I believe that, and I can see that. Just like now, the Gaza Strip is getting hit right now, and it's because their president Netanyahu has paired up and using a state representative, a grandmother and a mother that's here, there's a state representative here to help use her face, a black woman, to promote them causing this war there in Israel. But Netanyahu has been the one, according to the information that we have, that has sold them out, that has those people, those Palestinians over there suffering the way they are. And y'all don't be deceived. Those are a lot of our people. Those are dark-skinned Hebrew and Jewish people, you all. It's not just what you all are seeing on TV. Don't believe the hype. I'm getting this information from people that have been there and that families are here. That what they're practicing on them is what they're going to try to do to us and anybody else that think that they're getting by. No other smaller countries is going to be able to stand up against these wars that's going to hit, because it's going to affect all of us, you all, no matter where you are. It's going to affect all of us. If you look through history, you can see that if nothing else, we just need to make sure that we have the strength, that have potent things that we need that's going to give us the strength to be stored up, and you need enough of it. You need enough of it. I think I only spent $25 for this, for the record, for those who want to know. Okay? Got any questions? Call in to 618-388-8100. Sorry for the pointing. Somebody said they don't like to be pointed at. Who's she pointing at? I'm out of you. And back again, once again, CMOS is still in. The Cash App is still the same for those who all want to Cash App and donate in. The sisters in different ones, I have not. Hey there, Sister Sandra, good to see you. Hey, Sister Tasha, good to see you all. Don't think that I have forgotten about orders are going out this week. Yes, it is. And officially, there's nothing to stop that motion from happening. We have the colon cleanse. So those of you all that's taking your colon cleanse, let me know. If you've fallen off, get back on. You're going to need that in order for the body to know exactly what to ask for to help finish healing it up. Okay. And I have the powder sea moss still up. These are 40. We're back at 40 for these because I need to be able to make up enough to be able to get, as you all are praying for me to make the right decision of who to allow to invest in me. And it will range from $500 to $1,000, or if you can do less a month, then just note that that's coming from me, Dr. Chef, as your personal natural path with numbers of consultations for free. We can set that time up, whether you want to be Zoom, whether you want to be by call. You would be on the priority list because you would be the ones that will be helping make sure that I'm not having to raise prices in order to keep this flow going and to provide you all with very high potent, good healing supplements that help heal our people's body. Chlorophyll is out of stock right now, you all. The colloidal silver is out of stock. The zinc is out of stock. The B12 is out of stock. The advanced multivitamin is still out of stock. I need at least about 10 orders. If you all are trying to calculate up in your head, in order for me to be able to place those orders, I need about 10 orders, 2 weeks in order for you guys to get the shipment out is the minimum The max will be 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. But the mental boost is still in for those who are struggling with mental boost with mental blockages, dementia. Um, um, you keep losing your keys. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons if you got dementia or Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, and all those other things. This is a big thing. 2 tablespoons for our elders or anyone that's suffering from that or that has had brain damage. I have had been those who's calling in that have been in car accidents. They got brain damage. It's good for that too. We get memory glimpse. Attention, excellent for our college students. ADHD, calming the nerves, anxiety, stress disorders. I need the feedback from you all that have ordered that. This would be good to be able to take as well for those who all that have issues in that area. That is there. And then I have the elderberry left. That's good for flu, cold, and symptoms. That's excellent. And then I will be tuning back in on this Sunday. Is it the Sunday the 17th at 7 p.m. I will be going live for sure. And we will be recording the business that's going to give you all the biz on how you all can sign up to get your free testing to see what your vitamin D level is in your the kits. Actually, those will have to be purchased. I have access to be able to get those for you all, and so that you all can get the more accurate count, so you're not overbuying, overusing, overspending in the areas and thinking that you got to just keep taking. And especially for those you all that are not getting your levels checked often. Most of us don't run back and forth to the hospital to find out whether or not your vitamin D level is or whether or not you got enough magnesium or iron and zinc in the body and things of that nature. This way you can save you more money by knowing where your levels are, okay? So in that sense, it is a good thing to get your levels checked, okay? So I do promote getting those type of tests done if you can. If not, then you take it in moderation and pay attention to your body because you are your first doctor. Okay. All right, you all. I have gone over my time. I did not know I was going to speak this long. I have to get out of here, y'all. I am late. I have a class that I have to get to. So I'm just glad that I made it through that process. Any questions? Thank you all so much for the love. Please like, share. And keep in mind, anyone that wants to be an investor, take out the time to have me as your personal coach and chef throughout the month. That would range from 3 to 6 months. That's how that would work. And then, of course, you know how I am. I will keep an open relationship no matter what with you all, because each one teach one. I need you. You need me. We need one another. And yes, I look forward to working with more of our people that have the same heart and spirit, if not even better. Okay? And so reach out to me. Let me know if you all are interested. Okay. Know that I love you. Hey there, Sister Tarstovis. It's good to see you. And I'm glad to see you all. Then make sure to go back, rewind, like, share with someone. If it's helped you all, I appreciate it. Please let me know. And let me know if you want to donate or if you want to become a investor so that I can keep up on our supply and demand and don't have to raise our prices higher than what feels comfortable for me, for you all, okay? And for those who want to donate to help go towards Sister Jamaica, we're going to talk. I want to go get together. So those you ought to go in to purchase her book and give it away as a gift as well too to those who have special needs children or to special education systems. Give them away. We want to be able to get to a place where we can put some funds aside to help with the mothers, parents that want to be able to put their get their children more healthier because they can be healed and they can recover. I saw it happen with my own daughter. That's all I have to say concerning that. And I'm going to leave it at that. We'll talk about more about it. You all keep praying that we connect. The assistant that I have, she will be on soon. We're just working out our schedule here to see when we can bring her on. And then that means that you all, when I come before you all again, which I'm going to do my best not to wait till Monday, since my Mondays have just been going haywire. I want to go ahead and come before you all beforehand. I will be notifying you all. And then that way you all can meet her and we can start getting you all some nutritional things drawn up for you all and telling you all which things would be recommended for you all's health and wellness. Okay. All right. I love you all. You all take care.